Keep the applause going. Welcome your next storyteller to the stage, TyMahany. TyMahany.
I was in 8th grade. In other words, I was a grown-up. I knew this for two reasons. First of all, 8th grade, duh, top of the school. I was no bigger than your average 3rd grader at the time, but they knew who was in charge. Also, I had recently been confirmed in the Catholic Church as an adult. Are you going to argue with the Pope? I was sure of my grown-uppedness, but I wasn't quite sure if I was a man yet. And that all changed when I got my first switchblade. My first switchblade was a Bloody Mary. I don't know if that's what it was actually called, but that's what we called it. We got these as gifts, a couple of my friends and I. My friend Eric had gone to Germany with his parents and come back and given them to us. And it never occurred to us to ask him how he acquired the knives. It really, because we were holding the best damn thing we had ever held in our lives. We didn't need to ask any questions about, and that's true, by the way, because we were in Catholic school, so the things we were allowed to hold were limited at best. So we stood there with our knives next to a replica of Michelangelo's La Pieta next to our church, flicking them in and out, just looking at our black and chrome tickets to manhood, growling at each other like we thought bad men growled. We were completely ignoring the visage of our recently deceased savior. We didn't need him anymore. We had a new, albeit unsure future ahead of us now. We got these knives right before a dance, and a middle school dance is the dumbest invention man has ever come up with. The only way this could possibly make any sense is if we could somehow generate electricity through embarrassment and bad ideas about reality. But we entered the gym a little taller than we were moments before, strutting around on our new Dangerous. And there were green and gold streamers filling the gym, balloons being clumsily kicked about by the feet of not children. There were girls dancing with girls to Jesse's Girl. All the boys were lined up against the back wall, just kind of mouthing the words, trying to decide if it was cooler to dance or just stand against the wall. The wall was winning. The wall always wins. I had no doubts about my coolness. I had 6 inches of it in my pocket. And I was about to take my place with the other boys against the cool wall. And something strange happened. Devo came over the sound system. Devo was my favorite band at the time. Devo was my rebellion against the conformity of top 40 crap. Actually, like 10 of us got together and decided that Devo was going to be our rebellion against conformity, and the irony never really came. But not only were they playing Devo, but they weren't playing Whip It, the stupid hit. No, they were playing Beautiful World, which was my favorite song because it's dripping with my favorite emotion, sarcasm. And something about that moment changed me, and I did something I would have never thought to do only seconds before. I didn't go toward the cool wall. I turned around and walked straight up to Kelly Johnson, the most beautiful girl in our school. Apparently, my new Bloody Mary had cut the cord to let my testicles descend. I walked straight up to her and her little group of friends, and I looked up into her beautiful face, and I said, "Would you do me the honor of having this dance?" There were some giggles and a well-placed "aww." It was embarrassing. And she looked down at me, and I saw her face soften from the normal stoicism it normally had, and her lips turned up at the corners. And then she said the words that still echo to this very day. "I don't think so." And then she just turned around and started telling a story about a horse or some shit. I don't know. I walked away devastated. All I needed was a drink. I went to the punch bowl, poured myself a tall one. And Father Kennedy was standing there. He saw the whole thing happen, and he gave me this look like, "Hey, everything's going to be all right." And I gave him a look that was like, "Hey, we're both going to die virgins." And I finished my drink, And I was collecting myself. This was going to work. I was going to turn this around. Everything was going to be fine. And then Journey's Open Arms starts playing. It couldn't have been Don't Stop Believin'. That would have helped. But no, Open Arms. Steve Perry's was grabbing and grinding my heart with a falsetto meat grinder, and I just lost it. I couldn't deal with it anymore. And I walked out slowly. There's big tears rolling down my tiny, stupid face, just popping balloons all the way out. I stepped out into the cold, dark night, and I realized I wasn't a grown-up, and I wasn't a man, and it was going to take a hell of a lot more than a Bloody Mary.